As the sun began to set over the quiet streets of a small town, the cool air and the faint whistling of the wind created a gloomy atmosphere. Tom, as usual, was chasing Jerry, but this time the chase felt different. It was as if this endless cycle was about to come to an end. Tom, with weary steps, followed Jerry's footprints, a determination in his eyes that was unusual. Tom and Jerry had been chasing each other for years, but this time both of them felt that something was about to change. Jerry was faster, more agile, but instead of his usual playful manner, he was leading Tom with a serious expression. The chase led them outside the town, towards an old and abandoned railway track. This railway line had been out of use for years, a place where no train passed anymore. But as they walked along the tracks, both characters felt that something was wrong here. As Tom ran quickly along the tracks, he tried to catch the shadow of Jerry, who was constantly dancing in front of him. But this time, it seemed as though Jerry wanted Tom to catch him. There was no escape plan, just a steady pace forward. As they moved along the tracks, the sky grew darker and a mist began to settle. This mist shortened their visibility and made the atmosphere even more unsettling. Tom tried to set up his usual traps to catch Jerry, but each time, he failed. It was as if Jerry knew Tom's moves in advance and easily dodged the traps. But these escapes were different from usual. Tom had never seen Jerry so calm and composed. The railway crossed over a bridge, and the river beneath, even in the darkness, looked menacing. Jerry stopped in the middle of the tracks and allowed Tom to catch up to him. Tom, as if mesmerized, walked towards Jerry. When the two met in the middle of the bridge, Tom hesitated for a moment. Normally, when he caught Jerry, he would immediately attack, but this time he just stared. There was a deep sorrow in Jerry's eyes. Standing in the middle of the bridge, Tom and Jerry looked at each other beyond everything else, and from a distance, they heard a sound. This sound was a faint rustle coming from the depths of the old, rusty train tracks. Tom looked around to find the source of the sound, but visibility was too limited. For a moment, Jerry lowered his head and sat down in the middle of the tracks. Tom was surprised. Jerry always ran, never gave up. Tom took a few steps and sat down next to Jerry. As they sat on the tracks, the world around them fell silent. The distant sound seemed to be getting closer. Tom realized that a train was approaching, but he made no attempt to get up. Jerry, however, remained completely still. The metallic rustling on the train tracks was now quite close. Tom turned his head to look in the direction the train was coming from. The mist hadn't yet revealed the silhouette of the train, but the sound was growing more intense. As Tom looked at Jerry, he couldn't fully grasp the reality of the moment. They were not just enemies. They were two beings whose existence gave meaning to each other. Without Jerry, there would be no Tom. And without Tom, there would be no Jerry. Finally, the train's lights appeared from within the mist. The railway began to tremble, but Tom and Jerry remained seated. Both of them knew now that this chase had to come to an end. The train approached quickly. Its sound reached a deafening intensity. As the train sped over the bridge, the shaking of the bridge, the metallic sounds on the tracks, and the roar of the train drowned out everything. Tom and Jerry's presence was swallowed up by the intensity of the train, disappearing into a veil of mist. After the train passed, only silence and emptiness remained on the bridge. As the mist slowly cleared, there was no trace of Tom and Jerry on the bridge. The tracks, as silent and abandoned as before, shivered in the cold wind. The sun fully retreated below the horizon, and darkness enveloped the town. That night, no one would ever truly know what happened on that old bridge. Tom and Jerry's final journey would remain as the last act of an endless story. Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe.